Cherki is a special player.
Oh, lovely again from Cherki. He's onto the ball. Cherki, he hits it into the net. Rayan Cherki, you are gonna be one of those players that we will always talk about. And right, Guardiola plays it down the middle, and there's a real chance, and Cherki puts it into the back of the net. And a game that Cherki has probably been the eye-catching performer.
Him plus Haaland is just a cheat code.
We all know his qualities, so it's about trying to get the best out of everyone. And today he had 2 amazing assists to me, so yeah, hopefully many more.
Imagine having someone with Cherki's flair and vision passing the ball to one of the best finishers the sport has ever seen.
It's almost a carbon copy. Cherki's assist, Haaland's finish.
With the Premier League becoming all about set pieces, it's good to see magicians still on the pitch.
He's a special player. He's a special player. He's out of all the managers who wanna make like a chess game. You have to do this, you have to do that. And he's a little free soul. You have to understand it. So he's a special player.
Cherki is a game changer, someone who can unlock defenses when nothing else is working. In fact, he already had experience of terrorizing Premier League teams even before joining Man City.
Rayan Cherki!
36 million euros is nothing when you consider how good he is now and his potential. Under Guardiola, he's in the perfect environment to grow into one of the best attacking midfielders in Europe.
Say how happy you are to be here.
Thank you
Huh?
for the all. Good. And I'm ready to play with you because we are the best player.
Surrounded by better players, playing in the number 10 role with freedom, he is flourishing. When he came in, it was a statement signing. A signing that was made early with a clear plan, not some deadline day panic buy.
Manchester City have done it. They have signed Rayan Cherki.
City used to dominate English football, but even they needed to evolve. And Cherki is a part of that next wave.
At the same time, the club decided from Ryan because he has incredible skills close to the box, an incredible vision, pass, and many things. And
contrary to the narrative that people have tried to force, Pep Guardiola actually loves players who can break the game open. Players who see things others don't. And that's exactly what Cherki brings to Manchester City. One attacker got worse under Pep, and suddenly apparently every player that he's managed turns into a robot. Everyone is forgetting that number 1, Grealish was super important to City's treble win in 2023. And number 2, for every one Grealish, there's like 10 other players that exponentially improved under Pep. But I guess I'll save that for a different video. The point I'm trying to make is that when you take a player as skillful as Cherki and you put him under a manager as brilliant as Pep, it's a match made in heaven. In a team focused on control and precision, Cherki adds something wild, something unpredictable. He's the kind of player who can turn a snooze fest of a game into pure entertainment with one clever touch or outrageous dribble. City already have stars who keep the engine running. Rodri, Foden, Haaland. But sometimes, to win the biggest games, you need someone that can create something out of nothing. Someone who brings flair and risk. Someone who is a genius. That's Cherki. And he isn't some one-season wonder who is now getting hyped. This is the result of a journey that started long ago on the training pitches of Lyon. Cherki grew up in Lyon's famous youth academy. But even in a place known for developing stars, Cherki stood out. From the time that he was a kid, he had that special spark. Coaches remember how fearless he was. Jean-François Vullier, who worked closely with him in the academy, said that it was just in his DNA. Cherki wasn't just talented, he wanted the ball all the time. He wanted to dribble, to score, to make a difference. The complete opposite of Garnacho. In an away match for Lyon's under-18s in 2019, Cherki showed the crowd all of his tricks. And keep in mind, he was only 15 at this time. Then at 16 years old, he signed his first professional contract. While most players his age were figuring out how to deal with pressure or playing Fortnite, Cherki was already training with the first team. He was confident, he was sharp, and was always trying new tricks. It didn't take long for others to notice. On January 4th, 2020, he actually made history. In a French Cup game against Bourg-en-Bresse, Cherki scored his first senior goal in a 7-0 win, becoming the youngest goal scorer in Lyon's history. But this was only the beginning. 2 weeks later, he delivered one of the most jaw-dropping performances by a teenager in modern French football. Against Nantes in the Coupe de France, he scored twice and assisted 2 more, directly involved in all 4 of Lyon's goals in a thrilling 4-3 win. It was the kind of performance that makes you sit up and just start clapping. The kid was special. Later that year, in August of 2020, he actually stepped onto an even bigger stage, becoming the youngest player ever to feature in a Champions League semifinal. Think about that for a second. This guy couldn't drink in the majority of countries, and yet he was facing off against the best team in the world at that time, Bayern Munich. And his rise didn't slow down. In May of 2021, he came off the bench against Monaco and scored a last-minute winner which kept Lyon's Champions League hopes alive. It was another clutch moment, the kind of goal that showed that he wasn't just about flair, about looking good for the TikToks and Instagram reels. He was about impact. Fast forward, and Cherki is now one of the most talented footballers in the world. And the awards, they follow. Cause in the 2025 season, Cherki wasn't just playing well, he was flat out dominating. He was voted into the Ligue 1 Team of the Year, finished as the league's top assist provider, had the most successful dribbles, and was named Europa League's Young Player of the Season. He was Lyon's only creative force, to be honest, and he was one of the most exciting players in Europe. And now that creative spark is coming to Manchester. And what makes this move so exciting for City fans is that Cherki isn't just coming as a finished product. He has so much more room to grow. Just like Phil Foden a few years ago, or like De Bruyne when he first joined City. Pep knows how to polish these kind of players. He knows how to take Cherki from an exciting player to flat out unstoppable. And City needed him desperately because they have their structure, their tactics, their perfect passing triangles. But what Cherki brings is that touch of unpredictability, that moment of magic that is needed when teams are putting their entire bench, their starting 11, their coaching staff all inside the box so that City can't score. Because Cherki will take on defenders when others would pass. He'll try the impossible, and more often than not, he'll actually pull it off. Just look at his performance against Spain in the Nations League semifinal. I'm sure at this point your Twitter feed was spammed with people glazing this cameo from Cherki, myself included. The less said about my tweets the better, but please give me a follow. Cherki came on as a sub, and he looked like he was playing a five-a-side on a Sunday afternoon after having shawarma in the morning. He was calm and composed while being surrounded by the pace and intensity of a semi-final match. France were down 4-1 when he came on for Olise, but immediately the Frenchman made an impact. Within minutes, he found room on both sides of the pitch. First play, he found Barcola through a sea of Spanish shirts. Second play, he helped find Dembele in a pocket of space. Now yes, individually, these don't look like impressive plays, but in the context of the match, France immediately looked better with Cherki on the pitch. Yes, despite Mbappe being there, it was Cherki that was the most dangerous. Look at this piece of skill from him. Unfortunately, it didn't come off because Theo misplaced the pass, but it showed Cherki's creativity. This is the highest level of technical quality. The last player on City who could pull out a skill move like this was probably Mahrez. I could see Savinho doing it too. This is just what he does. Cherki is inventive, and he can move the ball out of spaces that are tighter than a nun to open the game up. Here's another example. He is on the left side, surrounded by Spanish players. He gets out of this tricky spot with a back heel, then grabs the ball and carves out the entire Spanish defense with just one pass. Unfortunately, Dembouz missed this golden opportunity. But how many players in world football are making that pass? This pass was also with his so-called weaker foot. He's naturally left-footed, but as you can see, he doesn't really have a weak foot. There are videos of him all over social media shooting flawlessly in training with both feet, inside of the foot, outside, half volley. It makes no difference. The guy's execution is perfect. I don't know what they feed the people in France, to be honest. Dembele, Doué, and now Cherki. Something is in those baguettes and croissants, because people keep coming out of that country two-footed. Now let's look at this clip. Here is Cherki dropping deep into midfield, controlling the ball like he's playing futsal, then finding Malo Gusto in acres of space. He turned a basic 5-yard pass in the middle of the park into a counter. With how much the sport has moved to pace and power, I'm looking at you, Adama Traore, especially in the Premier League, it's still nice to see that there are still wonderful footballers out there. This guy isn't the quickest, he's not the strongest, but he doesn't have to be because he's so good on the ball. He can dictate the tempo of the match all by himself. Like this pass that he played Gusto. He slows down the match for a second with the ball at his feet, then instantly creates an opportunity. Here he is switching the play with his so-called weaker foot. And here he is again minutes later using his other foot to whip in a beautiful cross onto Kolomwani's head, who scores. Now I'm not gonna blue ball you guys, don't worry. All the passing and dribbling moves, that was just foreplay. Now I'm gonna show you the good stuff. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Donatello plays him a bobbled pass. He takes a touch to lift the ball up and then bangs it in with his left foot. What a way to mark your senior debut, by the way. Now, this performance wasn't a one-time thing. He has been this good for years, but nobody outside of France was paying attention. Look at what he was doing at the under-21 level against England. This touch, by the way, came after he had already gotten 2 assists in the match. The first one being a lovely first-time pass that cut England's defense wide open, and the second, a perfectly flighted 50-yard through ball from inside his own half. half. So this guy isn't some aesthetic merchant. I know it's easy to try and classify him as like a French Adel Taarabt, but for all of his creativity and flair, he has real end product. He registered 12 goals and 20 assists in all competitions for Lyon, which is actually very impressive when you realize just how bad Lyon has been in the past few years. This guy was putting up these numbers on a team that was fighting relegation at one point, a team that has been struggling massively financially. Statistically, he was the most creative player in Europe's top 5 leagues in the 2025 season. He had the highest number of expected assists, higher than Yamal, Kvara, and Olise, while playing on the absolute worst team on this list. He was even at the top of the charts in Europa League. For those of you worried that he only looked good against farmers in France, here is him tormenting Manchester United again. Now yes, United were a relegation level team, but the point I'm making is that the quality Cherki has can be transferred to any part of the world. Perfect example of just how important he was to Lyon was the match against Toulouse in March of 2024. Lyon were losing, as per usual. They were in relegation trouble and were already on their 3rd manager of the campaign. Cherki was on the bench, but with the team about to lose, he was thrown into the fire. The classic Cherki and Inshallah strategy. Well, it worked. The 20-year-old got the equalizer and set up the winner as Lyon won the match 3-2. A few days after that, Cherki actually received his call up to the France under-21 squad after being initially left out. According to The Athletic, Henry was actually happy that Cherki was on the bench that game. He said that might have been the wake-up call he needed to become more consistent both with his character and his performances. There's always been a bit of criticism around Cherki's attitude and mentality. His former coach Grosso talked about Cherki needing to improve his mental and athletic qualities. He felt that Cherki did not do enough without the ball. But it's funny, those around the player claim that he is being prejudged. According to The Athletic, those close to Cherki feel that he is stereotyped as this North African player from the suburbs who is difficult to handle, when in reality that's not the case. The idea that he's some lazy shawarma eating attacking midfielder, combined with the fact that Lyon are in a terrible financial state, is actually the reason why City were able to pick him up for such a cheap price. Cause season after season, this guy has improved. His ability was never doubted, but now his decision making in critical moments is even good. He knows when to pass, when to dribble, when it's time to pop a shot. Look at his assist against PSG. He's got more dudes around him than Bonnie Blue, yet he still squeezes a pass through that turns into an assist. Fun fact, he was actually taken off in the second half of this game, despite Lyon being down 2-1, and after Cherki was taken off, they conceded again. When asked about the substitution, his manager said that Cherki was only making an effort in one direction. But clearly, City have done their due diligence on him. It's easy to pick out the most technically gifted player on any team and claim that he doesn't work hard enough. You can even say the same thing about the GOAT. Cherki became an easy scapegoat for a team that was failing. He's actually spoken out himself that the criticism he receives is not true. He told Ligue that he follows everything the coach asks of him. He's now even gotten his own fitness coach, a psychologist, and even a personal chef. No more croissants for you, buddy. And those who have worked with him in the first team all say the same thing. He is a player who's always asking for feedback, constantly watching videos to get better, and someone who does really well when he has a strong connection with his coach. And these people weren't lying. All of Cherki's attacking numbers have improved from the previous seasons. He was in the top percentile for goals scored, assists, passes completed, chances created, and touches. The exact stats that you want to see your number 10 dominated. Cherki sees things others do not. That alone would be impressive. But what makes Cherki so good is that he also has so many different ways of executing the pass. Whether it's a flick or a nutmeg, he has so many tools in his locker to buy him the space that he needs. Think about it, just in Ligue 1, he had 11 assists, 22 big chances created, 13 through balls completed, 48 successful dribbles, and he was playing on a very subpar Lyon team. But above it all, what really stands out about Rayan Cherki is how much he loves playing football. There's a joy in the way he plays, and he honestly brings life to the pitch. I'm telling you guys, we have been starved of this type of quality in the Premier League for a few years now, and City get to witness that magic firsthand. Because in the past season, they faced an issue of being too predictable in their attack. Well, Cherki fixes that, and with KDB gone, they need an attacking midfielder who can carve out chances. Now, of course, the Frenchman is very different than the Belgian. Besides both of them not having a weak foot, they're two completely different profiles. But Cherki can have a very similar impact. Cherki can play out wide, especially from the right, but he really does seem to be at his best in the number 10 role. When you look at his minutes at Lyon, the bulk of them came down the middle, and it's not a surprise considering he does so much damage there. Since he's both-footed, he becomes even more deadly through the middle because nobody knows which side he will turn. Remind you of someone? This guy in front of Reinders and Rodri will really have my balls tingling. I wasn't exaggerating in my tweet. Pep doesn't bring in players that he doesn't have a plan for. He knows beforehand how he can use them, and it's going to be so exciting to see it all unfold. The good thing for Cherki is that he's coming into a City team that is filled with talent. Nobody at Lyon was as good as the guys he's going to be playing with. To see just how good this new City team is, you have to check out this video right here.